Hello, my friends again. This is Adli Abouzeedan in a new lecture, which will be posted at the Universal Inspirations. I have run one lecture that I posted, and this is the second one. I'm recording this video in a small hotel within the Göteborg of the city of Gothenburg. It's a nice place. I often come here when I do my work. Today is Saturday, so I think it's a good chance to do some recording. And I apologize a little bit if there is some background voice. The television is on and there are some people around, but just relax, But I have succeeded. I have done recording in public places before, so I think we'll be okay. The first lecture was an introduction, and I established it my way. The way I'm going to be working with the analysis I'm doing in the different issues. And I used the first lecture just to kind of introduce myself to you. So I hope by now you know me a little bit more better. This lecture, and probably the coming 2 or 3 lectures, will be focusing on success and failure. And success or failure can happen at individual level, or it can happen at the collective level. But now my concern is more of discussing this issue at the individual level. And in order, I don't know whether I'm going to run everything this lecture, but my plan is this. First, I want to talk about the nature of success, how we define success, because that is one of the major points, or the starting point. We need to be aware of what does success mean. What is success? And when I can judge my goals in life and what I got into as a success. This is important. I'll explain why. So nature of success is important and how we define it. And then I'm going to talk about the 3 elements of success, or the 3 major elements that have to be existing to succeed. And these are, in short, the goals that you set to yourself, the strategies that you are using to get to these goals, and your ability to implement them. And I'll be talking about these 3 elements in details. Now, I see how much this first lecture will take from my time, but I think the starting point has to be all the time in defining success, understanding success. And in order to be able to understand success, we need some framework or some points of importance to clarify. And I'm going to talk about basically 4 points, 4 issues, which are related very tightly to success, or the nature of success. These are as following: the coupling to humanism. This is the first one. The second one is the continuity. I'll explain them in details later on. But these are the issues that I'll be addressing in relation to success. How much success is true in its nature, truth and illusion, if you like to say. And then how success is related to our philosophy of life. So there are four elements that I'll be addressing. First one is the how success is coupled to humanism, how success is coupled to continuation, continuity, uh, how success is coupled to truth or illusion, and how success is related to our philosophy of life. And all these four issues are very important to make true definition or correct definition of success. And let's start by asserting something here. Uh, True success is very coupled to goodness. Goodness. In absolute term, true success is coupled to goodness in absolute term. And false success is coupled to evilness in general term. Okay? So when I'm talking about good success, or when I'm talking about true success, I'm talking about good success. Success related to goodness. And when I'm talking about false success, I'm talking about success which is related to evilness. Because as humans, we can succeed in doing things which are good, but we can succeed sometimes, unfortunately, to do things which are evil. And there's examples of history at the individual level and both, as well as the collective level, of how that is, how that is a reality. And I will couple those four elements to that analysis. Okay, I think with that, we are set now to go in depth into the lecture itself. And again, my name is Adli Abouzeedan, if I forgot to say it in the beginning. And I'm recording here in Gothenburg City, in a nice hotel. Okay. First issue, how success is coupled to humanism and the truly human values. It should be, I'm talking about the right success or the correct success. I mean, for success to be considered something positive, it has to be coupled to positive values and positive set of convictions related to humanism. Any objectives that are promoting humanism, promoting love and peace in the world, promoting morality, promoting purity of soul and heart, promoting humanity, promoting unity within the human race, and stand against evilness, are good causes to seek. And in succeeding, of attaining them, then we have true success. I can give some examples to clarify why that is important. During the Second World War, or during the Nazi area in Germany, people within the German society, some of them were very committed to evilness, and they saw their duty to fulfill the doctrine of the Nazi party or the Nazi movement, and they were doing all their best to achieve the goals of evil. And those people were rewarded for their efficiency. And I just give us one example. In these concentration camps, where the people were executed and burned and gassed, the guards of these camps were keeping a record of the number of people that they were executing every day. And some of these officers were more effective in their evenness than other officers. They were more cruel than other officers. And they were rewarded for this cruel efficiency. Can one consider that as an accomplishment, as a success to be rewarded for? I mean, if a officer who is responsible for all these death camps showed to his superiors that the death rate he's able to achieve per day has been doubled or tripled, can we consider this as success if we only looked at the outcome, the efficiency? Surely it's failure, it's total failure. Now it is efficiency in evilness, no doubt about it, but it's not success. For me, success has to do with promoting humanism, promoting love, promoting peace, promoting all the good values that humanity has been striving for all those years. So efficiency, evilness is not success. Another example. In some South American countries, there were officers who were very loyal to dictatorship, like Pinochet. And they were given the task of pressing the other parties of the opposition. Some of them were very efficient in doing it. Some of them were very cruel, very inhumane. They did not have any feeling of sympathy with their victims. And they were effective in their cruelty. Can we say that those people are successful in their jobs? They're effective, but it's an evilness effective. It's an evil effective. Same thing goes in other places of the world. I mean, I have read some books about the way the military in Egypt in the 50s and 60s dealt with the people who opposed it. And when you read these details, I mean, I remember reading one book written by some people who were in prison at that time. And they were describing how the officers in the prison who were very innovative in their torture techniques and in their cruelness. And they were praised for it by the top leadership. Are these individuals are really successful in their work, in their evilness? You cannot be successful when it comes to evilness. Evilness, success in evilness, it's not the positive value, it's a negative value. It's something that nobody should ever seek, try to get into. But on the other hand, you have great examples of people who have succeeded because they were doing good. And most of the people, most of the time in their daily life, they really achieve success through goodness. If you are a student who's doing his PhD, at the university, and you are in going into the final phase of discussing your doctor PhD thesis, and you showed brilliance during discussion and control on your data, understanding your theory, and you've been praised by your professors. And this is success because contributing to science is a positive virtue. It's a good thing. It's a humanistic. It's good for humanity. So it is success. If you are somebody in business who is working hard to build his company and promote it, and in that process you are doing positive value to society, you are contributing to the welfare of the people around you, then this is a positive output. It's a good news. You are helping humanity advance. This is success. But if, on the other hand, you're somebody who is selling in drugs, for example, and you're succeeding in that, you're a big boss. For me, that's not success because your activity is harming other people. It is inhumane activity, cause pain to other people, give you money, yes, but cause pain to other people. Achieving your goals and gaining money that way is not successful. The problem is not with these kind of clear areas. I mean, nobody ever doubts that what the Nazi officers did during the Second World War is evilness, pure evilness. Nobody doubts that selling drugs and being rich out of that is an evilness. The problem is that in the areas where you have kind of no clarity. I'll give you some examples. Trading with the slaves during certain time, during certain era of the human history, was not considered as an evil thing. And people who became rich out of that, they were never considered to be evil people, and their successes were never being looked down upon, but rather, that they were praised. Was slavery then something good or bad? And was success in slave trade something that can be accepted as success? At that time, maybe people would not think too much of this issue because it was not well defined. Now we know that slavery is an evil thing, and being successful in making money in this area is totally evil, and it's not allowed. Sometimes even defining what is evilness and goodness when it comes to success is also related to a little bit the cultural aspects or the convictions. And I'll be talking about that as the fourth element when I talk about our philosophy in life. I give you an example. Making money and being successful in certain areas which are prohibited according to the religious thinking, religious ideas. For example, Christianity and both in Islam and Judaism. Prostitution, that is making money out of selling women to men, has been all the time looked upon as an evil thing. And still, for the religious people, for people who are religious, whether Muslims, Jews, Christians, and other people, they see prostitution is an evil thing. Now, prostitution is legalized in some places, and there are people who are investing in these houses, and they make money out of that. Can we call what they do a success? This example of a gray area where people have different views on what is evilness and what is good. For those people who make money in these activities, they feel that they're doing something good and they're proud of their success. For other people who are religious, who have the conviction that prostitution should never be allowed, I mean, you don't have to be a religious to think that way. This is evil. And in Sweden, for example, prostitution is prohibited. You don't have any, at least not in public. And the Swedish law punish the man who buys sex. So, how you see these things here? There are differences between different countries in that relationship things, and maybe something which is not considered success in the Swedish society is considered success in the Danish society. So, I mean, there are cities like Berlin, like Amsterdam, where sex is sold openly. That's an issue which have to be kind of addressed when you think of defining your successes in life. Gambling is another area. In some countries, gambling is forbidden. All the religions see gambling as an evil or unacceptable form of economic activities. But in Sweden, for example, we have a company which works with gambling. It is a state company. It's owned by the state. And it is the only activity in Sweden. Gambling is the only activity in Sweden for which there is no taxes on the profit. Why is just that? I mean, why profit made in gambling is exhibited from taxation? I personally don't know what's the logic behind it, but it's there. Now, if somebody made huge amount of money in gambling, is he doing evilness or goodness, or does his success a good one? Can we consider him a successful person or not? Now, I'm not here to take positions in these issues because surely I have my own views, but I'm not here to discuss them. I'm discussing the concept of success itself. And I say that relating what you do to the issue of humanism is very important. At the personal level, and this is my own conviction, I don't see success where I make money in areas that are not clearly good in their nature. I mean, I would not like to come into this gray area where there are different opinions about what I'm doing. I mean, there is no disagreement, for example, that honest, good practice trading is a good thing to do, and if you succeed in making money in that, that's great. Or if you succeeded in making an invention that you made money off, it's a great thing. But there are gray areas where there is a differences between different people and even in different segments of the site. Like for example gambling, like for example prostitution, like for example pornography. There are people who feel and think that pornography is a legitimate activity, that the money made there is good money. But for other people, that way of making money is an evil one. Uh, Now, I'm not here to judge people what they do. That's not my concern. But definitely, at the personal level, I would never couple my goals in life to areas where I'm not very sure that at least there's a general agreement between people that this is an area where really you are not utilizing other people. You are not, because all these things like prostitution, pornography, even gambling, based on utilizing certain drives within the human being to make money. Some people argue and says, well, there's no difference of, of selling uh, cars to people than selling sex to people. You are, you are fulfilling a need. That kind of philosophy does exist, but I don't believe in it. I really feel there is huge difference between trading with a woman, trading with lust, and trading with goods. Because in the first place, there are a human being who is involved in this and who's suffering because of that. And regardless of what people say about these things, uh, most of the girls who, let's take prostitution, most of the girls who come into prostitutions, they don't do that just by choice. And actually, that is the reason why Sweden has delegalized prostitution, because the argument, and I agree with it 100%, that it's not that these girls really enjoy what they're doing or they want to do it. It's just because the circumstances, the social and economic circumstances lead these girls to be utilized in that context. And surely, I agree. And I want that to be extended even to other areas where humanity is exploited, like in pornography and even in gambling. But and this is not political view. This is the humanistic view. This has to do with the way I relate myself to humanity. Any money, any money or material gain, which is based on the suffering of other people, okay, and utilizing their circumstances, for me, is immoral, and I would not consider it as a success. Even when the people make such individuals as stars, the people also have to look at that person, great person. Why? Because he published, he made the promoted the sex industry, for example, or the sex cinema, for example, or the pornographic cinema, for example. Okay, if you want to say that, say it, but I don't see that as a moral contribution to advancement of the humanity. And I'll give you one good example of how that is in reality, well known even to the ones who make this money. And I will never forget that, because it was a moment of honesty. And but I will display that incident to you. There was one time I was listening to a program on the radio, Swedish radio, and it was about pornography. And in the interview, there were two people. The interview, there were two people. Yeah. Two people in that radio interview. There was a guy who is producer of pornographic films, and there was a lady who is a feminist lady, and she was promoting the rights of the women in society. And it's really amazing that, I mean, when you hear it, you can go back and check, but this is, this historical record, but this is true what I'm saying. And I was stunned. The lady, the interviewer, asked both of them, what do you think, would you like your daughter to be involved in the sex industry, the pornographic industry? The woman, this feministic proclaimer, or the ones promoting feminism and the rights of the women, she said that like this. She said, if my daughter would feel comfortable with that, and that make her happy, I will not have any problem. Now, I expected the guy who is the producer of these movies to be even more assertive with this viewpoint. I was really stunned because he was honest, and I respect him for that. He said, no father in the world would like his daughter to be involved in these kind of activities. And for that person, his honesty. Now he's a person who's making money in that area, and I don't really, I told you my moral standing on that this is, I don't see that as a good success. I see it as a bad success. But regardless of this, I respected that person for his honesty. He was honest about it, about himself and about other people, and he deserved to be respected for that. But on the other hand, I felt, with all respect for the audiences that are listening to this video, I respect humanism, feminism. I respect feministic uh, women. I respect the drive to grant women their rights. But the person, that lady who at that interview, is really a very bad example of what is feminism about. You know, it is a shame that such a woman would stand up and present women liberation with her attitude. So deep inside ourselves, many people, though they are living in context of things that are making money out of, many of them really feel deeply inside that their successes are really false ones. They're making money in the wrong areas, and the glorification that they get from other people is really tragic. Instead of being told that making money in this area is immoral, it's not good. There are people paying price for that, and what we do is not success. So that was the first issue. So my brother, my friends, anything you do that doesn't have humanistic nature in its context, and it's not promoting humanism and promoting true love and promoting peace between people and promoting coexistence and promoting morality and I'm talking about morality in the philosophical thinking, in philosophical way, and does not promote true respect for people, then it's not success. The success for me, when I said it, when I take it to it that person is successful, is when that person is really reflecting all this deep meaning in his activities. So one thing. The other thing is continuation. It's continuation, and by continuation, I mean is that for success to be true success, then it has to have a continuation aspect of it. So if somebody succeeded in making one deal, okay, and he made a lot of money in that deal, but he used improper methods to succeed in that single transaction. And then after that, he was discovered, and then he was thrown in jail. That is not success because he performed very well at one point using bad methods, and then he lost. Uh, I mean, you can in business, for example, you can win and you can lose. You can make money and then probably you lose them. But the point is not this. It's not that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who are in their eagerness to succeed. They burn all their energy and they put all their prestige, and they use even illegal methods to make that one big shot and then finish. The people we respect today as a business, let's talk about the business era as a people we respect as a business. People are people who had continuation in their successes. When you talk about Bill Gates, for example, Bill Gates have been around for many years, and he sustained a lot of their changes through all these years. But he kept doing good, he kept performing in a good way. That's what I call success. Uh, Steve Jobs, those people who became icons in the world of business, they did not succeed once. They had a success record back, behind them, and they kept all the time a level of balance between, their achievements, their goals, and their capacities. They never lost their mind, and they never gambled to the point of, you know, craziness. But they took hard decisions, but their success was, you know, through the whole period. Uh, the guy who is behind SpaceX company and the guy who is also behind the Tesla car, he have done many things, and every time he do something, you see behind his projects a very deep thinking of what is the futuristic needs of humanity, and he take risks. I mean, I'm not talking about taking risks. You need to take these risks, but there are differences between taking risks and trying to buy quick success. Quick successes doesn't count like true successes. And I give another example from the world of cinema, for example. Hollywood. There are many great stars both men and women, who came to Hollywood and got the chance to do certain things, and they did probably one role or two roles in some movies, and then they vanished. They vanished. They did not have that continuation in their career in Hollywood. Now, so there was some cut in the camera, so I'll continue now. But there's something important now. Does every one of these stars, I'm talking about like the female stars specifically, who had very short career in Hollywood and they left, are they all of them failures? Well, here there's something important. Depends on something. If they were, if they stopped because they failed in keeping their level of performance as good actresses, then surely that is failure. But if they withdrew because they realize that they are not being given true chances and that there is a tendency to use them in cheaper kind of films, and even the risk of gliding into the bottom of the Hollywood cinema, which is the pornographic cinema. If they got out of that out of respect for themselves and their humanity and their worth as women, that's not failure. That is great success. One of the things which is very important when we talk about continuation is that continuation in success, as parameter of success, is also coupled to your ability to cut off that process when it is becoming dehumanizing to you, when it is colliding with the first principle, when it is not helping you to develop and becoming better human being. And I give you two examples, girls, one I met in my life, and the other one I heard about and listened to her. First one is a Swedish lady, young girl, beautiful young girl that I met the early days in my life in Sweden. We had the chance to chat. She told me her story. She's a beautiful lady. She went to Los Angeles, to Hollywood, in the hope of starting an acting career. And at the beginning, she did some serious work. But then she discovered that for some reasons, the communication she was getting from the people there within that context that she was within. And I'm not saying that all Hollywood's like that, but definitely there are clusters in Hollywood which are seeking girls for the pornographic industry. I mean, pornographic industry is part of Hollywood. Everybody knows that, and these studios are in the same area almost. She sensed that the offers which were giving to her was trying to pull her into that direction, and she refused. She did not want to be pornographic star. She didn't want to be a lady which is utilized in the pornographic movies. She left. She cut her career in Hollywood and went back to Sweden. And I met her at that. And I asked her, "Did you feel sorry about that?" She said, "No. Because when I went from Sweden to Hollywood, my understanding of the success I want to achieve was very clear. I wanted a success that promote me as a human being, promote my values, my self-respect. And I tried, but I wasn't willing to sell myself to any price. And the things which were offered to me were of that nature. So she went back, and I'm very sure that today she must be a very successful person. Now, well, she's not now a Hollywood star, but she gained her self-respect and gained her humanity, and I'm very sure that she is very successful in what she do, regardless of what she is doing, because her character is a character of success. On the other hand, we have another story, and it's a really tragic story. I mean, you know, I, I as I say, I'm neutral on all these issues, but definitely, for those people who are impacted by these activities, they cannot, they pay the price, so they cannot be neutral. And I don't mean neutral in my the way I see pornography or the way I see gambling or the way I see prostitution. There is no neutrality in that. These are evil things, regardless of what people say. And I don't hide it. Surely, as a Muslim who believe in Islam, I cannot see gambling as something which is good. It's forbidden in Islam and forbidden in other religions also. As a Muslim, I cannot see prostitution as something which is good. It should be promoted. And I don't see pornography as something which is good and should be promoted. So my position is clear, but I don't have the authority to judge on what other people see in these things. It's their issue. But I'm trying here to define what is success and what are the elements that we should be looking at when we define our success. Now, these are my ideas. You can accept them or believe in this. It's up to you. I mean, maybe you feel that no. For me, prostitution is an activity like any other commercial activity, and I hear that. And one of the things that I heard, and I felt very, very angry, really, very angry. There was a guy, Danish guy. He said something which is awful, very awful. And for him to be allowed to say that, it's amazing. He said that other nations are different kind of gold. The Arabs have the black gold, which is the oil, and they export it. Um some countries have the white gold, which is I think he was referring to the cotton, and they export it. And that guy was trying to promote more uh, the investment in pornographic industries in Denmark. And he said that they're in there, and we have the yellow gold, and we should import it, export it. And by yellow gold, he meant beautiful Scandinavian blonde girls. And that was awful for somebody to say this. I mean, okay, sure, he want to promote pornographic industry. It's his business. Like, I don't interfere. But the way he was expressing it is showing a total regard to humanity. I mean, it was dehumanizing for the women in the Scandinavian woman. And I don't understand how a person can say this and never be held accountable. This is awful. He is talking about you know our sisters, and I'm Swedish. I'm talking now as Swedish. Our sisters, our friends, our wives. He see them only, okay, as export goods. He doesn't see the human behind these young, beautiful, blonde, blue-eyed girls, and all what that mean. And I feel very, very angry. I still feel very angry when I recall that, and I don't know how the hell in the world that guy was allowed to say this on the newspaper. This is the worst degradation that you can say for the most intelligent woman I ever met in my life. And I can say, I've been around a lot. The Scandinavian women, they're gross, they're very beautiful. They are very nice, blonde hair, blue eyes. But the thing that make make me attracted to them and really like to be around them is not that. It's their intellect, their ability to run very deep discussion, their lovely personality, the human behind them, the human within. And for that humanity within them to be humiliated in this way, this is awful. Just to show you how some people who are within these areas of activities define success. That, I understand. He see only money. You know, he defines success by money. I don't define success like that. So this is the second. We talked about the first, which is humanism. That success has to be related to humanism and the humanistic values and values of love and peace and respect, morality and purity. The second thing is the continuation, that you have to have continuation in it. The third element is that it has to be true success in its nature. And what by that I mean, yeah, I just want to finish the last one. I'm sorry. Yeah, I told about the first girl that I met, that she left Hollywood because they wanted her to do things that she doesn't want to do, glide into the pornographic industry. The other example is of a girl who had been in the pornographic industry under many years, and then that lady went on and left all that, and she became practicing Christian, and she told her story to the people. And when you hear her story, you get so much angry of the kind of pain that she went through that nobody talks about, because that industry is presented to us as a glorified industry, but there is a human price that is paid. She could have left early before she glided into that, but it's easy to tell people what to do and not to do. Maybe if anybody else was in her position, he would have stayed, or she would have stayed. Any other woman. So and I don't want to be judgmental on her life. That it's not my right to do that. But definitely, the girl who left Hollywood quickly and came back to Sweden, that retreat was a success. I think I'm very sure that was a success. The third element that we need to do to look at when we talk about success is whether it is true or false. And what I mean with true or false success is that sometimes you seek to do things, and because you're driven out of your non-controlled emotions, or your ideas about the reality is fake, not true, then you fail. And this is truly very prominent thing. I mean, I meet people in life, and when I ask about their dreams, you feel that their dreams are totally disconnected from their capacities. I mean, I meet people who told me, or who tells me that they want to be great professors. But when you sit down with them, you see that they're lacking many things, including the motivation, they're lacking the desire, they're lacking the tools, they are not well prepared. And that's illusion. To think that you can succeed and become professor or somebody who's well known within knowledge without having prepared yourself and have put the right effort in preparing yourself, then it is illusion. Now, what some people do is that they create a reality in that illusion of that nature, and they think this is success by falsifying and building false reputation. And then everybody says, no, no, look, he's a professor, and he thinks that his success is is true success, but it is hallucination. It is an impression that he has about himself. After a while, when people know the reality of the person, then he just collapsed because he never was truly successful. That is the difference between somebody who's became professor through real effort, through real input in his life, and he stands like that as a rock. You can never shake him. Okay? And the most successful people in science, their ideas become more strong with time because they are well based. It's not illusion they are based. And it doesn't mean that your input in life has to be kind of compromising or like, actually most of the great people in the world asserted themselves by being different, by being challenging, by being courageous to go into areas where other people have never went. But they were doing that not out of illusion. They know what they were doing. They were creating an alternative truth. They were not truth. They were not creating an alternative illusion. Or, and for example, Albert Einstein. I mean, this is a great example of a scientist who, with time, his ideas becoming more solid, more stable. His prestige as a scientist become more clear because Einstein doesn't have he did not have illusions of what is the realities you are talking about. Everything he said was based on real deep thinking uh, that took many years from him. And that's why every day, every day, his ideas are becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. And this year, for 2017, the Nobel Prize in Physics were given to three scientists which were studying one of the phenomena he was talking about, which is the gravitational waves. Uh, Einstein talked about that in his paper, but nobody could have ever uh, measured them because these waves are very, 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 very minute. Their impact on the physical is so it's very hard to detect it. And but some scientists they succeeded in doing that, and they got Nobel Prize for that. And that's assertion of their good work, but it's also assertion that the work of Albert Einstein is 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 even is strong and solid. So it is true success. So we went through three elements now. So recall when we try to define our success. That successes we do should be coupled to humanism, should be coupled to and the values related to humanism. Like purity of the heart, peace, love, coexistence, morality, ethics. All these issues that are promote our humanism. Second, it has to have continuation in it. It's not something that happened once and that's finished. True success continue over time. The third thing, it has to be true things. The output you're doing is real. It's not an illusion. If somebody comes and tell you, okay, I'm going to build the whole city in this area, and then you came after 10 years and you did not find that city, then it was an illusion. He's trying to sell you an illusion. And that is one of the problem, actually, very classic problem with the way the societies in the underdeveloped world are progressing, because their leaders, their political leaders, they sell them illusions of progress. They don't sell them real progress. The plans that they make for them, and they have been making for them for many years, they are illusions in their nature. I mean, for example, take one simple thing before I go to the last element. You know, in many years, the Arab governments talked about economic progress and economic planning. Uh, and for years, people were promised things in all levels they were never achieved. Was that because of the lack of money or resources? It's not true. I mean, in the Gulf region, for example, money was not a problem, but the economic conversion, which was promised to make these countries totally dependent of the oil, from the oil, all of it is illusions, because it's not based on true understanding of things and the needs of you know, what are the things to do. So even after 40, 50 years of talking about finding alternative economic context in those regions, they still mostly dependent on oil. And if the oil one day finished, they will not have, they cannot sustain the modern civilization they built, because they would not have the ability to spend on the kind of life they are living now. So it is very important that your success that you're promoting is based on true data, on true understanding of things. It's not it's not it's not an illusion. It's the reality. When John F. Kennedy in the 1960s said that within 10 years the United States will be putting a man on the moon, his promise was not a hallucination or an illusion. He based his assessment on, on true understanding of the capacities, technological capacities in the United States and what it can deliver. It was a very hard task. The success there was colossal success, but it was based on true parameters, true understanding of what is required. And after 10 years, everybody saw the picture when Neil Armstrong put his foot on the sands of the moon, and he said that this is a small step for man, huge step or a huge leap for mankind. Okay, now these are the four things. The three major elements. The fourth element that we have to recall when we talk about success is related to our philosophy in life. I find from my own experiences in life that people who are unable to achieve in life, often they lack a true holistic philosophy of their life, what they want from life, what they want from life. And that holistic view help them place their goals and define their success in a good in a true way. And I give some explain. If I am a person who have a holistic view of goodness in life. I mean, my purpose in life is to live a life of giving to the people, of caring to the people, of being honest to the people. I have a whole set of ideas about my existence, which are holistic in its nature, and it defines my values and the way I see life. And now, these holistic view can come from different sources. They can come from religions. I'm a Muslim, for example, and I have a set of ideas that shape, holistic thinking about my life. My friends are Christians, and they have that holistic thing. I have friends who are Jews who have that holistic philosophy out of their experiences and their Jewish religion. And the same thing, my Buddhist friends, the same thing, my atheist friends. That holistic approach to life helps you place your goals and define success in the right way. Now, if you don't have that holistic approach to life, you become somebody who's like, you know, first you will be very distorted. You will be trying to hit different cores of goals without really having a philosophy behind it. And that's why, for example, for those people who doesn't have this holistic view, being rich, getting money, is connected to one thing. They want just to enjoy life. They want money for themselves. That's what this is called egoism. I want money to enjoy life myself. I don't care about anything else. But that's not sustainable. You know, that's not what really give you happiness in life. Being rich in itself is a good positive thing if it is placed within a holistic viewpoint. Okay, and the people who really can utilize their success in life in the most effective way and do good in life are the ones who have a holistic viewpoint. If you remember last time I talked about this young girl that I met at early stage in her, you know, last couple of years, and now she's heading to be a global star. Uh, I know very well that she will do great because of one reason, because different reasons, but I want to recall her story in relation to what I'm talking about now, because in all my discussions with her, in all my discussions with her, I always felt that she has this holistic philosophy of life. She's aware of herself and aware of her understanding of things, and she's humanistic in her nature. So she wants to be successful. She wants to be a global star. She wants to do good to the people, but she's doing out all of that out into not out of egoism, but out of caring for other people. And I know that honestly. I mean, I've been interacting with her all the time through her journey, and I always knew that. I always felt that she will be able to pull everything together because she has this holistic philosophy. And without such a holistic philosophy, you will never be able to introduce something or succeed in something. I can disclose something to you now. Had it not for me being somebody with a coherent view in life about life, I would have never been able to produce this series of lectures I'm producing because the whole setting of this lecture is to present a holistic view of things. If that holistic view of things is not residing within me, I will be never able to convey it to you. So any true success in life is based on you having a holistic philosophy in life. Now, we can succeed in different areas in life, and it doesn't mean That doesn't mean that you should succeed in everything. Nobody can succeed in everything. But when you have that holistic view of life, then you become a good professor. If you are committed to science, if you have this holistic view of life, you can become great businessman if you're committed to business. If you have this holistic view of life, you can be very great inspiration for people, and put in them the energy and trust. Without this holistic viewpoint, you will never be able to deliver, and your definition of success will be always not that complete. So, to summarize again, now I'm running almost to the end of this lecture. Uh, Defining success, understanding success, is related to four elements that should be very clear in your mind when you plan your success story in life. You have to have true connection to humanistic value, humanism, and all the value, all the things could couple to it: peace and love, understanding for people, coexistence, morality, ethics, purity of the heart, unity, looking to what is common between human beings. And that is the first condition or the first element that you should look at when you're designing your success story. The second thing that you should be looking at is the continuation. Because you don't want to succeed one day. You don't want to do something today and then finish up that. You want something that is continuously developing through your life. The third thing is that your success has to be true success. It should not be illusion, and you should be very careful of getting trapped into illusions, and should never allow other people to trap you into their false reality or untrue reality or imaginations. Your success has to be true one, based on true data, true understanding, true control on things. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have to take risks, surely, because sometimes reality is not clearly 100% clear to you. But you should be very careful of being cheated into reality, which is only an illusion. And you have always be very open to any signals that comes to you that show you the other, the reality of things. And I stress this especially for the younger people, because when you were young, your knowledge, your experiences in life, sometimes that is, it's not that complete. Sometimes it doesn't give you the full picture about the evilness that is there, because there is evilness. There are people who are willing to do anything to utilize others for their own purposes. Risks, sure, take the risks. No, but I mean, you can never succeed without taking risks. There's a difference between calculated risks under controlled conditions, and believing in illusions. The fifth thing is that you have to have a holistic philosophy about life. What's, what it is about in a holistic way. Now, I present these five elements, four elements, actually, to anybody of you who's listening to me, who is occupied by planning his future life or planning his current life, and he is seeking success in his life. These are very important elements, and understanding them is the first step towards success. If you don't spend time thinking about these four issues, in defining your success and you jump directly to just choosing your goals, you probably end up in failure. The first step in true success is that your success is well defined, that you are very aware of what kind of success you want to make. In the second lecture, the coming lecture, third lecture, I will be looking at the three elements that define success, which are the goals, the strategies, and the implementation. The first stage, before even you go into goals, you have to understand what is the issues which are important when you want to judge on whether what you're doing will lead you to success, or it's an illusion of success, or it is success for evilness. And as I said, that for me, to succeed in doing evil things is not a success. Success for me is to do the good things and to promote the good values and to leave a positive impact on other people's life. Well, with this, I shall say that I shall close this lecture. And I thank you very much for listening to me. And again, I will be leaving my email. If there is any comments, any questions, any issues that you want me to, you know, go in depth in them, I'll be happy to do that. This is Adli Abouzeedan greeting you with best wishes and hoping for every one of you true success, not false success, true success that enrich not only you as a human being, but all of us and the humanity as a whole.